Welcome. We're excited you're all here today for another episode of Cooking Connected. My name is Jordan. Joining me today is my coworker Sajwa and two of our Cooking Matters volunteers, Chef Jeff and Colin. Normally, a Cooking Matters class is an in-person nutrition-based cooking class that meets once a week for 2 hours for a total of 6 weeks. Classes normally feature a chef and a nutrition educator that work together to teach our participants how to make healthy, delicious, affordable meals, as well as some fun nutrition advice along the way. Today, we're going to be following that same format, except virtually. Today, Jeff is going to be showing us how to make a pineapple avocado chicken salad. We'd like to thank the creators of this recipe, Produce for Better Health. And this recipe can also be found on UMN's Real Life Good Food website. You can find the link to the website in the description box of our videos, and I'll throw it in the live chat here in just a moment. So just like every week, we do have another survey for you all to take. We love hearing from our viewers. So if you could please take this survey after this video, we'd greatly appreciate it. Just like every survey, you will need a program code, which I have right here. Let's see, there we go. This week's survey code is E101834. You can find the link to the survey in the description box of the video. And then again, I'll throw that in the live chat in just a moment. So again, if you could please take that survey, we thank you in advance for that feedback. It really helps us to continue this work in the community and make our videos a little bit better every time. So with that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Sajwa for today's recipe. Thanks, everyone.
All right, thank you, Jordan, for the introduction there. Hi, everybody. So before we get started with today's recipe, we are going to go over some of those kitchen basics, the things that you should always be doing whenever you're cooking anything. And the first one being, you want to make sure that you are washing your hands. Wash your hands for at least 20 seconds, getting in between your fingers like so, around your wrists, fingernails. If you got any jewelry, watches and stuff, remove those and really get in there with that good soap. You can sing the happy birthday song twice, or you can sing the ABCs to help you get there. Another thing you want to make sure that you're doing is cleaning and sanitizing your cooking and prep space. So cleaning, meaning I'm removing any visible debris or dirt or crumbs. And then sanitizing, meaning that I'm using a disinfectant to get rid of any germs or bacteria on your surface. So those are just the things that you want to keep in mind. And then also I'm going to let Jeff take over, but make sure you have your mise en place done, guys. So having your mess in place, which is kind of the running joke here with Cooking Matters. Just have everything you need out and ready to go. It really helps if it's your first time doing the recipe. That way you're not in and out of your cabinets there. So I'm going to pass it on to Jeff. He's going to show us his mise en place, and we're going to go ahead and get started with today's recipe.
All right. Thank you very much, Sajwa. Glad to see everybody here. So the pineapple avocado chicken salad is what we're going to be making today. And so I've already diced up some avocado, and we have some red bell pepper. I'm going to continue to slice that so I can show you how to slice that. We have some cabbage here, some Napa cabbage. I'm going to use this. Here's some canned pineapple. You can use fresh pineapple as well. And some shredded carrots, and these are packaged shredded carrots, and these might be a little too big for the pita bread sandwich that we're going to be making. And then we have I drained the pineapple and I mixed it with some curry powder and some chili powder, and I marinated it. I had some rice wine vinegar to it as well, and I marinated the chicken breasts for about a half an hour. These chicken breasts, there's really a package of 2. And so they're really quite thick. And so I just cut them in half lengthwise to make them a little bit skinnier so that they will cook faster. And they turned out really nice and pretty, golden yellow, beautiful color. And when I took them off the grill, they smelled really good. You can smell the curry, and you can smell the pineapple juice that had permeated into the chicken as well. So I think it turned out really, really nicely. So what we're going to be doing is making a dressing first, I think. The dressing is going to have Greek yogurt right here. And it's going to have some rice wine vinegar and some salt and pepper and some mashed up avocado. I'm trying to mash up this avocado right now. It's a very firm avocado, so I'm just going to end up using a couple of knives and trying to cut it into smaller pieces. Now you can use, any kind of flavoring for this chicken that you want, that you're going to be using. This is, like I said, this is fresh chicken breast, and you can marinate it in a number of seasonings and spices and vinegars. I happen to like using a lot of rice wine vinegar, but you can use some spicy vinegars, apple cider vinegar, white vinegar, sherry, balsamic, anything like that. And then in oil too. I also marinated it in some extra virgin olive oil, like I said, for about a half an hour, and then put it up on the grill, cooked it for about 7 minutes on each side, and it turned out really nice. I like the color on this. Looks really good. And it's going to go well with the pineapple and the avocado and the peppers, of course, and the yogurt. So it'll make a nice complementary sandwich with this pita bread that we're going to be making.
I have a question, Jeff.
Yes.
How long should we be marinating our chicken for this recipe? And also, would you mind explaining a little bit about what the marinating process does for the meat?
Okay, sure. Good question. So you can use any kind of, you need an acid to help break the muscle down. Okay, so you can use wine, you can use even beer. I've used beers. I've used tequila to marinate chicken. You can use citrus like orange juice. You can use tomato juice. You can use, lemon and lime juices as well. I'm thinking about, I've marinated in yogurt and mayonnaise, and these acids help break down the muscle, makes it more tender, and also gives it a whole bunch of flavor too, and adding different kinds of spices and seasonings. And what was your other question?
And how long should we marinate for this recipe?
Okay, good question. It depends on how thick your slice of meat is, but at least 30 minutes, and you can marinate it for a day. And it's what it's going to do. The longer you marinate it, the longer the more it's going to seep inside the muscle and give it more flavor. So it depends on how much flavor you want to actually add to the chicken or the beef or whatever you're going to be cooking, or seafood, something like that. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So let me move this camera down a little bit. So I'm going to finish prepping. See if I can get this over here. All right.
Perfect.
Okay. So, like someone, this avocado is quite tough, very firm. I'm just going to use 2 knives and break it down to make this dressing. Just get it down as small as possible. Then you can probably start maybe using a fork. If you have a pie cutter, that would work well too, but I don't have one. I don't do a lot of pies. So that's pretty good right there. So to this avocado, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of this yogurt, Greek yogurt. So for that, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar, because there still might be some yogurt on more of an accurate measurement. So put that there. Some of this Greek, or the Greek yogurt might still stick. See how it sticks like that? I'll toss that in there. And some salt and pepper. And this is a combination. I have I have a mortar and pestle, and so I buy rock crystals of salt and use the mortar and pestle and break it down to this coarseness that I want. So we've got some pepper here as well. And you can add a variety of seasonings like the curry powder. You can add some onion powder to this. Anything you want. And what did I do? I added tarragon. Oh, that's in the other recipe. That's a surprise recipe for you guys, actually. So here's their dressing. Basically, this one is just going to coat all of the other ingredients. So I've got, for the filling for this, we've got this half an avocado that's diced. This is 1 cup of pineapple chunks. I think I'm going to break it down because the pita bread that I received, it's this pita bread right here. Sometimes you can have a pocket in the pita bread, and so you would fill the pocket, but this one does not have a pocket. So that means you're gonna have to put the filling, this chicken and fruit filling inside of here, and then fold it up and eat it like a taco, if that's what you want to do. So just so you know, what will happen, hopefully some of the juices will get absorbed in the bread, but you looking for pita pocket bread as well, so that's easier to eat. So I'm going to go ahead and chop up these up a little bit finer. Just give it a coarse chop. Remember, when you're cutting and using a knife, you want to make the claw. Over here, make the claw. Turn your fingers, your tips of your fingers in towards the palm of your hand, like this, and then curl your thumb in towards the palm of your hand as well. Okay. Get the habit of that. Let's make a quick rough chop with this pineapple. Let's finish these up right here. Just like that. I tasted this pineapple earlier and it's really nice and juicy and sweet. So that's good right there. And it's still got a whole bunch of juice inside of it. So I'll finish dicing this up. I already cut this bell pepper in half. So when you're cutting something that's round, it can roll around. So please make sure that you always cut it in half first and then go with the flat sides. See, it's going to roll around like that, but it's not going to roll around when you can also just flatten this out. Just take your hand and flatten it out and turn it over so it's not going to roll around. So you make your claw again, and then just use your knife and make really nice thin strips or the desired thickness that you want. Okay. And then come back and cross cut it. Bring them all together like that. Let's make a cross cut. Make a nice dice. And keep your elbow. I've seen so many people, they will get their elbow into their body quite often. And what that does, well, the elbow just their body gets in the way of the cutting. So keep your elbow and your arm away from your body. Because if your elbow gets in there, it's just going to cause you to cut differently. So here's a nice dice for those, for the green or the red bell pepper. And it's going to be so nice and colorful. We've got our greens and our yellows and our oranges and our reds. And we'll have a little bit of green, a little bit of white with this Napa cabbage. And you don't have to use Napa cabbage. I just happen to have some from our garden. My wife and I have community gardens locally, just down the street from us. And so we harvested the other day. And actually, I used some of this last night to make like a Korean chicken barbecue dinner. So anyway, what I've done is I've made some slices. I've kept turning the Napa cabbage around, making some slices all the way through so that we have the same size. And so now I'm just going to, actually what you could do now is cut it in half, make your claw, and make nice thin slices, okay? As you would do this for something like coleslaw.
Are there any other like leafy greens that we could include if perhaps we didn't have cabbage on hand, or would red cabbage work, or
yes, it's good question. I would use something like you could use spinach, of course. You could use kale. We are growing some purple kale in our garden. You could use some mustard greens, some collard greens. anything like that. So of course, romaine, you can use iceberg as well, but you know, you probably know that iceberg really does not have a whole lot of nutrients in it. So go for the dark leafy greens that I just mentioned. So now we'll do this green onion. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it in half and then bring them all together so that starting point is equal and even. Remember, it's really important to cut the same or slice the same size and thickness, especially if you're going to be cooking it. It looks good for eye appeal. And if you're going to be cooking it, it's going to cook it all the same rate. And then plus it just looks kind of weird, I guess, if you have really big chunks and really small chunks in the same presentation. Okay, so let me get a bowl.
Jeff, one great question that we had was, what are some options maybe to substitute for the chicken to make this a vegetarian dish?
Okay, great. Actually, the first thing that came to my mind was some tofu. I've never grilled tofu, but I bet you can. Tofu, we love it. I don't buy it a lot, but we love it in our family. My wife and I like it. And so the key thing to using tofu, though, is, get the firm or maybe the extra firm and take it out of the package at least half an hour before you're going to use it and put it onto a plate. You actually drain it first out of the package. There's a lot of moisture inside of it. And then you're going to want to, drain it, put it on a plate, and you're going to need quite a few paper towels. And what I do is I will take paper towels and press the juice out of the tofu itself. And I will just let it sit there for half an hour, and I'll come back every couple of minutes, 10 minutes or so, and then change the paper towels out. I'll keep pressing more of that tofu out. And then you could slice it up, maybe spray some kind of a oil on it, or brush it with olive oil or whatever kind of oil you want to use, and season it and then grill it. I think that'd be a really good substitute here for a vegetarian. Of course, you could grill some, the cauliflower steaks that people often do, or any kind of other vegetables. Grill some zucchini if you want to do that. You could substitute shrimp, your favorite seafood, some squid, beef as well, or pork, whatever your proteins are, what you like to eat. So anyway.
I think you could add in some chickpeas really quick. I think that would be a really fun, quick option too, especially if you didn't want to have to do too much cooking and maybe you're in a rush. And that way you get that protein. And I feel like they're such a versatile item. They'd really mix in really well. They hide really well in the foods. So I think that would be a good option.
That's a good point. Because you made me think about the other beans out there as well. Some chili beans, some kidney beans, favas would be good. The other night I had some chili beans I was eating for dinner, and I like to make my own ranch dressing at home. And I will use the olive oil mayonnaise and the Greek yogurt and a little bit of regular mayonnaise too, and then add some like soy sauce, some mustard, some thyme, lemon pepper, garlic, onions, all that kind of stuff to make my ranch dressing. I mixed it with the ranch beans. Oh, and the chili ranch beans. So dang good. It was, oh man, loved it. And I've seen so many cooks, they will take regular ranch beans and they will just add the seasoned package of ranch dressing mix to that to enhance the flavor of the beans. Okay, so got that. So I'm just going to combine all of this in here. We have a nice color presentation. And what's cool, not only is it colorful, but what's also neat about it is, there are some different shapes and sizes, okay? So that adds some artistry to the presentation, okay? It makes people like, ooh, that looks really cool. I like that, Maybe you're looking at some kind of a painting that you like, abstract art. And so, if I mix this up, it might look like a painting.
I love that. I love the way that you combine food and art because, you know, what we see really makes what we eat feel a little bit better, taste a little bit better. It makes it more interesting. So presentation is a big part of that cooking experience.
So how about that? Art.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that's abstract, all right.
Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and take these freshly cooked. I'm going to take 2 of these for this amount of mixture. I'm just going to go ahead and put this down. Oops. That. I'm going to go ahead and cut it into slices this way. Remember, all the same size and thickness. And of course, I grill this chicken on both sides. And it's really important to take the temperature. Okay, so I use this. It's my digital thermometer, and the probe sticks out. Okay, just like that. And it's important to the needle point goes right up to here. So it's really important that you stick this into the meat all the way to the thickest part of the chicken or whatever it is, the thickest part of the fish or the meat that you're cooking. Because the thickest part is the part that takes the longest to cook. So it's really, really important. And then what's also important is you leave the thermometer in there for at least 15 seconds because inside the meat, the juices are bouncing around all over the place. That means the heat is bouncing around all over the place inside that muscle. So it hasn't rested yet. So it's really important that you let the meat rest so that way all the juices will come back together, slow down, and they stay inside and stay more moist for your consumption. But it's also, for something else that's really important, is that you clean and sanitize your thermometer before you use it and after you use it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to have any food particles, scum, bacteria going into your fresh, clean chicken that you just cooked. Because we don't want to get anybody sick. All right. So I'm just going to cut this up into some pieces. I really like the color of this. It turned out really nice with that curry. Let's add it to that. Fruit and vegetables. Do one more. I might even add the juices. Those juices look like they are screaming for me to eat.
Lots of flavor in there.
Yeah.
And guys, I did just want to let you know, right now Jeff is working with meat that's already been cooked and cooked to a proper temperature and such. So we're not really too concerned about cross-contamination because it's already cooked. But if you were starting this recipe and perhaps you haven't cooked your meat yet, please make sure that you are practicing food safety in your kitchen, making sure that you're separating your fresh and your raw meat, your fresh vegetables from your raw meats, making sure that you're sanitizing your space after handling raw meat or anything like that. So you can change your cutting board, wash them, the knives too. Just making sure that you're being aware of that and conscious of that. But at this moment, our meat is already cooked, so it's totally fine to move ahead.
Yeah, good point there, Sajua. I did cut up the meat, like I said earlier, when I marinated it, but I also used a different knife and a different cutting board. I mean, I could use the same one. I mean, I'm going to have to wash it again. I still have to wash both cutting boards and both knives right now. But anyway, it's worth it. You know, it's worth it for the keeping myself and my wife safe and not getting any foodborne illnesses. Yeah, just we don't want to get sick. And I don't want you guys to get sick either. So we've got this ready to go. So I'll add this right here. Put this, that's okay. Just like that. So that looks pretty good, just like that. So I have the dressing.
That's our avocado and yogurt mix that he's adding in now.
Yeah, it's real simple. Avocados, the yogurt, some little bit of rice wine vinegar, and some salt and pepper. You could add anything else to it as you want to. I'm wondering, it might need some more liquid to it. Might need some like more rice wine vinegar is what I'm thinking, but that's what the recipe called for. Of course, you don't want it too, maybe you do want it sloppy. What I like to watch, because I love watching diners, dives, and drive-ins, that show, and all the best looking food over there on that show, look, they're all sloppy, right? All sloppy burgers and sandwiches. Okay, that looks good right there. So I've got this, and I'll go ahead and I'll use my other cutting board for this presentation. So that's the nice side. So it's just, you got to watch out because it looks like it's tearing. There's like, you can see the indentations. They make cuts all the way through. So this is already falling through. So you got to watch out for that kind of stuff. So it's gonna fall apart right away. I know that. If I fold it over, you can see it's already
the perforation
already there. So you got to watch out for that. So anyway, just be careful. So I'll just do half one. Put there on the plate. I'll do this half right here. And so last night I cooked some brown rice from another class I had. And I made a salad. So I made this brown rice salad. Like I said, I had some brown rice left over from last night. And I added, I had some cucumbers, some fresh cucumbers from my garden, some fresh romas. And then I added some cilantro and some dried cherries and some sliced almonds. And I just made a quick vinaigrette with rice vinegar and some extra virgin olive oil. And so I thought this would be nice.
That sounds really good.
Oops. So that looks good, I think. Nice and healthy, and just a sprig of cilantro to go on top of it. So there we are. Here we go. So that's today's class.
Beautiful.
We get that up there for you. Get that. There we go.
Yum.
Okay. So that is that. And maybe I should try a bite.
Yeah, we got to get the famous bite in there.
Nice. The recipe is really good.
That sounds
You don't need to add anything else to it as far as more vinegar for the dressing. Everything complements each other very well. And my salad.
Yes. That's a great plate there. All right, guys. Well, before we let you go, I do want to do a little bit of nutrition education here. First, I just wanted to point out one really cool thing about today's chicken salad recipe. We did use that Greek yogurt, and I really like that as a substitute for mayo. One, because there are lots of health benefits to including Greek yogurt in your diet. We've got that addition of calcium. There's some really great protein, probiotics, B12, all those good things can be found in that Greek yogurt. And so that's going to be great for that. And, the probiotics are going to be good for your gut health. So I love that. And oftentimes it is less fat than using a mayo. So that's a great option too. And then aside from that, today, I did want to chat a little bit about ways that we can be eating smart when we're eating out. So Jeff has made such a lovely chicken salad today, and I think that's a great representation of a recipe that reminds you of something that you could get if you're going out to eat, but you can definitely make it in your own kitchen. But if you don't have any time, sometimes we got to go out, we got to do what we got to do, guys. You can always look for fruits, vegetables, and whole grains on the menu when you're eating out. So perhaps try loading your pizza with lots of colorful veggies, getting that rainbow in like Chef Jeff represented for us today. You can always order a side salad or fruit cup, or perhaps some like carrot and celery sticks instead of the fries when you're going out. You can always ask for a whole wheat bread or brown rice as a side too. And then also you can try to go light on toppings like bacon and cheese. That's always a great way to make something a little bit healthier when you are eating out. Another thing you can do is try to select some lean meat choices. So things like fish and chicken and turkey would be great options. The red meats will have more saturated fat, and we kind of want to watch those saturated fats. Also think about the way that your meal is being prepared. So we want to try something that's baked or broiled as opposed to breaded and fried. You can choose those options. Grilled is another option that would work really nicely. And that way, you know, we're watching how much fats that we're getting in our diet. Again, we like to leave off special sauces like extra mayo or extra tartar sauce, anything in excess like that. Or you can opt for the low fat version, which will be helpful. We can also look at doing things like vinaigrettes instead of creamy salad dressings. That always will help out in the long run. And then finally, I do like to mention watching what we're drinking along with those meals. So instead of getting a large soda, you can try getting a smaller size. And that way you are watching the amount of sugars that you're intaking and those empty calories. You can also order a low-fat milk, 100% juice, or some water with fruit like lemon or lime can always be helpful as a low-calorie beverage. And then also I like to mention watching your portion sizes. So when we go to those restaurants, they're giving us these big, huge plates full of foods. Consider eating just half, or, looking at how they're portioning things out and getting a to-go box from the beginning so you can portion out your food and what you're going to eat in that restaurant and what you're going to take home for later. I already kind of talked about this, but ordering a small instead of a large, and that goes with like those soda pops and juices, or the fries. You can always get a small fry, and that will always be helpful. And then finally, it's always fun to split those larger meals with a family member or friend. That way you're not feeling like you have to eat everything that's in front of your face. I know sometimes when I'm out to eat, if it's on my plate, I'm like, I have to eat it, but you don't. You can always share those things with a friend or family member. And those are ways that you can eat smart when you're eating out and still enjoy your experience and enjoy those treats when you're out to eat.
Great. Thank you so much for all those tips, Sajwa, and that great nutrition advice. Thank you, Chef Jeff, for that beautiful demonstration and the beautiful plating, as always. And thank you, Colin, for moderating today. We greatly appreciate our volunteers helping us with today's Cooking Connected. So before we leave today, please don't forget to take our survey. You can find that in the description box below our videos. We also have it in the live chat as well. Again, you will need that program code, which I have right here, E101834. Again, is that program code. So again, please take that survey. We really appreciate it. So with that, we hope to see you again next week, same time, same place, next Thursday at 2 p.m. For another episode of Cooking Connected with another amazing recipe. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great week.